Okay, part two, assuming that it's actually streaming. Um,
One
looks
second
like
on.
it's working. And we back. Um, so Victoria, apparently the last thing you had said that was heard was all roads lead to the manosphere. Um,
It's true, and that's what killed us. Also, I can see more screen than usual on yours, just so
oh,
you know. I don't know what that means. Um,
I I think it
there.
just
Yeah, it's
unfull
good.
screened it, but it's fine. It was just the icons for all the things. They will know
Yeah.
my crimes, for I use Firefox.
Oh, God!
Um,
Yeah, all roads lead to the manosphere. Well, I think that's it. That Scion is driving everybody to extinction. Um, and he loves it.
mhm. He's like, damn, dog, pretty cool.
He's like, it's so nice to have a fragment of any other emotion besides crippling sadness and loss.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh, what are your final chapter thoughts?
I think that even when I came into the chapter this like most recent time, that so much information is being dumped that I had to like just continually go back and being like, did I catch that quite right? Like you had asked a question of did the two entities merge on the original planet before they left? And like I literally don't know. Said I don't think they merge, but like hard to
It,
say.
it's like it seems like what could be happening when they explode the planet is that they're doing like this merge and then like explosion thing, and then like the shards like all kind of fly out and then reattach and arrange themselves. And I like thought that was like the reproduction system, but then it doesn't seem like that's what's going on
I think in the
with
original cycle,
Scion and Eden.
I think in the original like pre-cycle first planet thing, they uh they use the equivalent of like the damsel power to drain all the stuff and to explode, but then they're like two colonial jellyfish, and the two colonial jellyfish like fully like explode themselves apart, and all of the
Hmm.
shards are solo, so they're not merging. They're in fact each allowing themselves to be fully like what's the word? There's a word for like put down into their component parts basically, but that's what I mean is
Yeah,
they're all deconstructed to their component parts and sent out to random places. And like they don't
yeah.
say for sure, but there's like a chance that the second shard that is met by the like plant dwelling one, it sounds like he's there for a long, long time. Um, and that maybe this is even one that has burst off from some other exploding planet since then.
Hmm.
Um, because you'd think it'd be pretty unlikely for two to hit the same planet coming from the same planet. They'd have to be on basically identical trajectories.
I think that Scion implies that it's like that that it evolves separately from him or something like that.
Right. That one
So
evolves
I think that
separately, but it's it's completely left up to the reader if it's
yeah,
like they just both hit the same planet, or
right,
my brain theory where I'm like, what if it had already gone through a cycle, so it was like a second cycler when it,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of like nebulous information in
well,
this
because
chapter
it kind
that
of
you
seems
kind
to
of have
know
to like.
more. You know what I mean? Like it is the one that comes up
Hmm.
with the plan to mash against another one.
Yeah, yeah, it's the one that it comes up to it and then attacks, and then he's like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And then he
It's kind of
like
hot.
I think even I think he even like shows him like he attacks and then he like puts his shards back together and then that like causes the mutations and he's like, "Oh, wow, this is sweet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. It was a good chapter. Just jam packed with. There's a lot of solid information, but also a lot of vague, nebulous information that you kind of have to read into, figure out
There's also like a lot of stuff that
what you
like
think about
first
it.
read hard to pick up on. I know there was
Hmm.
so much being thrown out there that like I didn't pick up on, like, oh, that's Aisha, clearly. But it's like
Right.
really obvious in hindsight when I just like think about it. But I was just like, oh my god, brain blast.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I liked this is like a twist chapter too. It's like
Hmm.
it's so many twists actually.
Well, because it feels like the redemption story until it's like the evil story. So there's a
Yeah,
twist at the
yeah.
end, but it's like you say, it's like a pre-twist that it's like, oh, this was the cycle, and like this thing was
Yeah, we
had
like
ill
understand
intent.
why the powers exist and how they where they come from and why they crave conflict. Like we learned all this information that we've been like waiting for this whole time. And then it's like it's like a very pragmatic kind of explanation where it's like yeah, it's just like an alien species trying to uh doing its normal thing. Um but then yeah, then there's like the additional twist that like I mean unless you're supposed to know going into it that he's the catalyst. No, you're not, because Tattletale realizes he um
And Tattletale's
that
the
science is
exposition.
the problem. Yeah, and Tattletale's the exposition.
Um,
So,
so another thing is that I hadn't thought of until like this read through is him being surprised about the powers and stuff, like seeing multiple people hooked up to the same shard, stuff like that, like just all the things happening and being like, whoa. Um, Maybe that's because when they had like successful runs, they had always been too tuned in and like helicopter parenting and stuff like that. So like maybe they were too controlling to get the results they had wanted. Like clearly they've gained a lot of power, but I think their ultimate goal is like they're one of those we need to stop entropy aliens, and they're not really succeeding at that.
yeah. I think that's all. I think this is a really, really good chapter.
Yeah. Um, it's it's one of those ones. I was playing it for Daniel like yesterday, and
Hmm.
he was listening to it, and at first he didn't know what it was, and I'm like, what do you think it is? And then he still couldn't guess, and I'm like, it's worm.
They
um
they say like worm like 4 times this chapter.
they totally do. He only listened to like 10-15 minutes of it, but he really liked it, and he could tell like immediately, like he's like, this is from really far in, right? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
um
This is the high sci-fi part.
yeah. Well, and it's like we talked about at the top of the, before the stream crash, the part one, where the the sci-fi backfills so well onto what's happened. We've kind of talked about it throughout, but like at the beginning, like Taylor's got all these questions, like, oh, is lungs fire coming from his adrenaline? Like, does he have unlimited adrenaline? Like, how does this work? And like stuff like that. But when you know more and more, it's like, oh, his fire is being like heat energy that's channeling in from another parallel world, or like that's how he like changes the direction of fire or whatever, and his strength and his like extra like body parts are being like slowly warped in from, they're just seeping through the gaps, and it's because the majority of all powers are like in some way based around the energy of, or the idea of moving energy between realities. It kind of
Yeah.
like Chevalier's power is also one of the most fundamental ones, like being able to combine um aspects of items that have different properties throughout like layered realities. Like that's how the power is graphed onto people. And that's not all made 100% explicit in this chapter, but this gives us a lot of the tools that we can use to view the sci-fi setting. And I still think also this is a we've got worm listeners may remember that Scott had initially been like, if there's like a clean, neat, like sort of powers explanation, it won't be satisfying if it's not like taking into account the like emotional narrative stakes. And one of the things is that while this is like world building, I don't think that, and he wasn't mad at this part, like to be clear, he liked this a lot. I think that this manages to not invalidate any of the metaphor, but still provide like a strong like structure and skeletal system for the like powers system to work.
Yeah, I mean, Scion doesn't even like really like focus that hard on like who he's doling what powers to. It's more important that, I mean, I think he's definitely like thinking about it or whatever, but it's more like the shards can kind of, they go off and do their own shit, like transferring from Aisha's dad to Aisha or whatever, or
Yeah,
transferring from Taylor's dad to
they
Taylor,
have their
and
own
then triggering at a
agency. Yeah.
certain moment. And then so it's like they're still able to, they are still like developing on their own, and they still have their own like sort of personalities and things from like their previous lives, as far as I can tell, because they've all been like doing this. They've been like getting inside of hosts and then like having these entire lives.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Before Scion absorbs them again.
And like when the like had this been a successful process and had they sent off like the information to like basically pairs in all sorts of directions, like any one of these important shards would be kind of shared between entity pairs, it seems like they have different but similar like future sight to each other, like the Scion and Eden. And they like, I feel like that baseline stuff is shared around, and then when that happens, it's like it says when there's a shared what's the quote, it's really early on, shared yeah, it's where memories fall in parallel, they are shared out, offered to others. So they like retain these like historical memories of not only where they came from, but the intermediary hosts, anyone that they see as like successful, any power they see as having been like really important seems to be transferred to all the entities that are like birthed out.
Yeah, and that's like, it's like Scion is the ancestor, but also not.
Yeah.
Because they're all the ancestor, because they all inherit the memories
It
of
actually
them.
reminds me a little bit of in Stargate, in famed series Stargate, the Goa'uld have genetic memory, and they sort of like split. And whenever they split, then they retain the like memories of the previous one, but they'll like sort of fashion a slightly different identity, and like they'll drift apart, which we also see in this series. Like clones end up being different from one another, but but yeah, they share the genetic memory, and so there's a split faction of like the same creature called the Tok'ra, because they split before they started using this technology to revitalize their bodies and make themselves like ageless, because that technology makes them also like, you lose your mind more and more whenever you use the sarcophagus. So like even humans who have used it a few times are like basically evil, and then the shared genetic memory means that like they have this stored up like uses of the sarcophagus for hundreds of years, and the Tok'ra just don't extend their lives. But that's why they're able to be like normal like semi-peaceful, like symbiotic aliens instead of like distinctly evil ones.
Yeah.
But well, oh yeah,
Do you want to go ahead and talk about ARC stuff?
I do, but I thought this would be a good moment to interject worm.divx, or at least
yes.
part of it. So it won't project to you, but I will quickly play the first part of it.
Take that, you worm. Take that, you worm. I was going to be the superhero. Hey, don't swear. Then I shot Aster. Destination. Agreement. Trajectory. Agreement.
And that's where it's got to end because the rest of it is for future chapters.
Spoilers.
Yeah. But it ends with the perfect capstone of him repeating, "Take that, you worm."
Take that, you worm. That's why this is a perfect book, is because it opens and ends with that same sentence.
Exactly. This is the chapter that when people ask me why is it called Worm, and I say, well, you have to get really far into the book before I can really explain that. It's like, to me, this is like the chapter where it becomes clear, like,
Worm, yeah?
like even the like stupid nickname of this stream, Write Once Read Many, kind of makes sense to my brain for like mapping how the shards like infect they infect a computer or a planet, and then they multiply and like a worm virus, the way that they've been explained to me. I'm not like a computers guy, which always shocks people who know that I'm in IT, but you don't need to be a computers guy to be in IT. So they are the worm. And let me look up worm virus Wikipedia. Computer worm is a standalone computer program that replicates itself in order to spread to other computers. It often uses computer network to spread itself, relying on security failures on the target computer to access it. Doesn't that sound like Scion?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we only see like a few key moments in the lifespan, but I think the fact that like the first ones that they're symbiotes with are the plants, and they don't have to defend themselves, but then they have to fight the like sentient species, but they gain like the most important crap that they probably get aside from their starting powers, which is gravity and space warping powers, so that they can control their space flight. So now they're like, oh, we are unstoppable. For arc stuff, like, I don't know, incredible finish to an arc, because, like, this whole time, this arc is like, if we look at the table of contents, this arc's end of the world scenario was talked about in, arc 10? Something like that? Just after the data heist in 10.6, I think, is when we first learn that Jack's going to end the world.
Yes.
And then, you know all the things we've been through. So we're through all this. We have like all the idea of the time skip, the clones, everything. The end of the world seems like imminent. We get the Golem storyline where it feels like alternately at different points, like he's about to win and he's about to like fully lose. They get what feels like the ultimate like victory, and then things go quiet, and then this chapter is the like complete reversal of fortunes. Like everything, it's not like everything they did was in vain, because it changes the like true outcome, but everything they did from their perspective has failed. They didn't stop whatever event, which they now know was Scion starting to just go ham.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it's a
bananas.
little like
Mhm.
yeah, and I think part of it, I mean, like the fact that like Tattletale hears that thing and then she goes, "Oh, we're all good." It's like that's gotta be partly from like the blind spots that they all have around Scion.
Mhm.
Like like her power just wouldn't engage with it until it was like everything else had snapped into place.
Her shard's like, that's the homie. We
Yeah.
like that
She's like,
guy.
"Oh, that's a nice guy though."
We don't have to look into his business. He's trustworthy.
Yeah.
Um.
Ugh.
Yeah, we can do characters now. So. Um.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
think
I
it's
was gonna
funny. This
just
thing you
call
wrote.
out.
Aisha's the first. He wrote Aisha's literally the first parahuman, and Taylor is the last. Question. 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 Baller. Um. Apparently,
Yeah,
the alphabet goes A to T.
we get to see a few yeah, we get to see like a few specific ones, which are obviously the first one and the last one, both notable. Aisha was an experiment that could have gone terribly wrong. Um, so like crazy that it worked out. Um, and then yeah, and then Taylor's was the administrative shard, so he seemingly like needed that one to like manage all the other shards.
And he
Um,
basically needed to use the Dyna power on like a continuous basis while setting up this scenario, and
yeah,
that's why
which we
the
see him send.
things are not chronological.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he just picks like specific people throughout the entire course of time in which well, I don't know. It seems like it's over like a span, a time span, but like not a huge time span because I think maybe he's depending on he was like depending on the shards evolving more and like having more
Yeah,
um buds.
it seems like they send out. Let me see if there's It's the time 300. Okay, so it says it will take 160 revolutions before their destination reality hits critical
Mm,
mass. So we're not 100% sure what that means, hits critical mass. Maybe it means like they're really juiced on data or something. But then it says it'll be 331 years before there's enough information gathered. So um, maybe hitting critical mass allows them to be at a point where they have so many active shards making shard buds that they don't need to seed anymore.
mhm. Yeah.
Maybe.
So yeah, maybe we'll just say like yeah, because it didn't seem like he was utilizing that entire time span, but that it was like over like 50 or 100 or 150 years that he was selecting people to assign
Yeah.
shards to, and so yeah, so he doesn't go he doesn't move through time. I mean, I guess he moves through time in chronological order, but he like views time on Earth like with his precognition, and so um that's how they sort through them. And then yeah, so what was there another shard that I want to call out? It was
The
like another
mm,
one that he sent to someone specific.
well, he
Oh,
thinks about the Taylor one being close to where he sent the Dino one. He's like, "Wow, crazy."
well, yeah, he's like he like sends the Dino one and then he like wants to like hurry things up, so he just sends the Taylor one like nearby.
Yeah.
Um, and and there's also the Jack's power is his like projection communication power or whatever.
Yeah, it's the broadcaster. Oh, but
Yeah, the
just
broadcaster.
before I forget, that for Taylor's power, it like Aisha's power goes directly, like it's about to go to the dad, then it's like, nah, it's the girl. But Taylor's power ends up being dormant for like however many. Let's see how long it says. Um, They say administration shard. Damn. I'm not remembering what keyword to use to find the spot, but basically it attaches to Danny, then lays dormant for like a long time before
Yeah.
swapping. Like, I don't think Taylor's even born.
Yeah. It seemed like he was like a young 20s person or whatever when we've seen this, because we've seen this scene a couple times.
Yeah, I might be thinking of something that's actually in a different chapter because of how often they sort of redux some of the stuff around Danny and Taylor.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all I had for individual shards. I don't care to talk about Jack or I mean Tattletale's like cute in this chapter or whatever because she's being dumb. But I don't think we learned anything about her.
Yeah. I mean, I think that scene with Tattletale is like iconic. Like, I think back to that scene when I think about Worms. So
It's just like she gives so much pushback and it's like and it's like Tattletale.
listen, Charlotte, if I had just been looking at a drawing 30 seconds ago, I think I'd know about it.
It's like Tattletale. Like, you deal with, like she says, she's like, there's got to be a stranger power at work or whatever. And it's like, yes, so pay attention.
Stranger, never heard of her.
If somebody around you is talking about something and you're having this reaction, you should think about why. Oh my God. She's like, Charlotte, I think you're forgetting. You're an idiot and I'm a super genius.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Scion.
Scion is like one of these classic I don't have emotions characters, but then it's like you're acting
he actually does
like
have
you
emotions.
do. Yeah, and it's also like literally within the story he definitely does. But he like many people cannot identify his own emotions.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that. He had the power yet. So the emotions powers, he sent those all off.
And there were some pretty good emotions powers that he had, but had.
He probably should have kept the Gallant one, where he can tell what people are feeling.
Yeah. Although Gallant got his power from an Eden thing. I was thinking of Heartbreaker.
Yes, that's a good one too. But I don't know if I would want. Honestly, I don't know if I want Scion to have that one.
Well, I don't want him to have it because he's gonna use it on
evil.
on Taylor. But like, you know, as far as would it be a power that was very useful to him and really let him understand his adversaries, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah. I like Scion as an alien character because I don't know. I've read a lot of alien characters and sometimes it's like, especially when you're doing like an alien that doesn't have human emotions, it'll fall into the same types of things, the same types of tropes. But Scion doesn't really do that because like, yeah, he quote unquote doesn't have any human emotions, but he actually literally does. He like, as soon as he gets to Earth, he like downloads everything. And so like even though he isn't personally a social creature, he's like predisposed now to like those same type of I don't know, the same type of things that humans are predisposed to. So he like, it seems like he's like sad and lonely and like wants to be social, grieving his partner that he lost, and he is like I don't know, I have this quote here. The entity is aware of the idioms and patterns of this world, is already thinking periodically in terms of the words and ideas of their languages to frame thoughts for itself in this pivotal moment. It serves to help codify the messages and intent. So he's like aligning he kind of like aligns himself with Earth and society, pre like sending himself down or whatever.
He
And
sends a
so like
message over to the other entity and he says, "We bofa need to make it down there." And the other entity messages back, "Bofa?" And he says, "Bofa these
both for
nuts."
these nuts. Yeah, he just like instantly turned into the worst dude pro ever.
He's just sending all these messages that like don't like are completely pointless. He's wasting all their energy.
Yeah, yeah. Um, what else to say about Scion?
Um I guess I'll just say that I agree with you. I think he's a really good balance of like a more alien thought process when thinking about the memories, and then when thinking about like as soon as he's reached Earth, he's clearly like to me clearly changed in the way that he's like kind of operating, and it is like he shuts down because he has emotions. But I feel like if he didn't have a human body with emotions or whatever, he would be much more likely to just like jump into action and do the next plan and be like, well, I'm gonna use future sight to do a plan, and then I'm gonna do a thing, and then I'm gonna do a thing, you know. But he's not
Yeah,
like that. He's like,
yeah.
oh no.
He's like just became some dude. Like he like makes the little Scion guy and then he's like, this isn't me. This is just like a little puppet that I'm holding up at the end of my really long tendril. And then he like is unable to remove Scion from Scion the entire time. And I don't know if that's like partly because of like his loss of some of his powers or whatever, but like it seems like he, as soon as he has like this human body, that he like sinks into almost human be I mean, I know he doesn't act human, but it's like this is like he has this like human reaction where he's just like, I don't know what to do with myself. Somebody tell me what to do. And then
Yeah.
somebody tells him what to do, and then he just like and then he's like, okay, I guess I'll just do that because I don't know anything else. And then he like doesn't evolve in any way. He just like is totally stagnant like that until this chapter.
Mm-hmm. And it's like he may think like the tendril puppet's the puppet, but it's more like the puppet tendrils back and puppets the rest.
Yeah.
Um. uh. Have we read this? It's just the entity
Yeah, he
comes.
just gets sad.
Yeah, the entity comes to experience a deep, profound sadness for the very first time.
Oh God. Poor Scion. I like Scion as a character too because he's like this. I mean, like he's not like an evil. He's like a bad guy. He's like the villain or whatever. But he's not like an evil person. You know.
He does
He's
become
just
vindictive and evil in later
later.
chapters.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I
He
do think
definitely
he's
like gets more
distinctly
and
like
more
an evil
vindictive.
guy later.
Yeah. Um.
And his intent was originally to cruelly force a manufactured conflict to cause as much pain and strife as possible, and then
Yeah.
explode the planet, but in a clinical
I
way.
just mean that this is like that's like he's like a big alien guy or whatever, and that's like what the freaking aliens do, and it's not like really anything that you can correlate to like a real person,
And
and
it's not
so
like I want
that's
to
why
destroy
I don't
all life
feel
or anything. It's
yeah,
just
yeah, he's
coincidental.
it just happens to kill everybody and he just like doesn't think about it, and it's not because he's like a evil horrible person but because he hasn't evolved to think about that yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, like when they the blank slate thing is true.
Well, and the part that does make it like pretty clearly evil is that even though they like clearly don't think of humans on the same level as them because of their capabilities are so vast and their lifespans are so much longer, it's that
Yeah.
he has a full understanding of humanity before shucking off like the emotion shards and stuff. So
Hmm.
he views them in all their ways throughout all these timelines and all these things, and he just still just regardless of that just brushes them off anyway. So he's the casual cruelty of like discounting wholesale. I mean, in this case, all humans. But if you just like pick a group for him to hate, like then, or to like casually discount, like we've seen this type of like thing with real people, but it's just
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
more specific.
It's yeah, I think it's like that reaction to I don't want to say dehumanize because that doesn't make sense here.
Yeah, well, that's
But
why I
yeah,
use
like
the word like
he just
discount
he just
because
doesn't
he.
yeah, he just doesn't equate humans in the to himself. And so they'll just never as much as he can like understand them or even have empathy for them, he just like can't see them as uh as indisposable.
And well, and the other thing is too that I think that's why he. It's like this weird double think where it's like he constantly thinks from the position of the scion body and like thinks of himself as the scion body, but then he's also like, but I'm not a human. That's just like this like incredibly. But it's like clearly the only centralized fixed thing in your life that you are like
Is
wrapped
the
up around.
scion body. It's the
Yeah,
only thing that he takes care of or does anything with.
yeah, like the there is a part of him that's like maintaining the shards and allowing them to like his shards to like talk. We'll like learn about that like I think all the way in Ward, but basically that keeps the channels open between them, and that's like the core difference between like a dead shard and an alive shard is like, can it properly communicate to the other ones? Is it connected to any network? And so he is like in a way a beacon for his shard network, but he doesn't like think about that or make decisions based on that. And he's clearly like not
Yeah.
attuned to it because he's surprised by things that are happening with,
So it's supposed to
disconnected
be
bits
the
of his body.
thinker's problem.
Yeah, yeah.
She's the emotional one. I'm the logical one.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh,
She's the smart one, he's the potato one, to make a
yeah.
fucking Doctor Who reference. Yep. Um I think we can move down to the powers, knowledge, and world building, which we've already been overlap talking about this whole time because they're
Yeah.
pretty inextricably linked, but now we'll lean more
Yeah,
the other way.
just as an overview, we've learned how the shards have came to be, how they attach to people, how the Manton effect works, how the trigger events kill people, sorry, don't kill people, but they do kill people, like drinking vials can kill people or whatever. We don't learn that directly, but it's like implied.
But that's
Um,
also like one of those
we
things where that in itself they've talked about through the book as like the safeguards built into powers, and like they've talked about
mhm.
all sorts of things about like them not having the safeties for cauldron. So it's stuff like that is something we know, but
Yeah, yeah, but it's explained
it's
why
explicit
that's the
here.
case.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true. That's
and
true.
then we learn why they're drawn to conflict. We learn why when you drive yourself towards conflict and align yourself with your shard, that your connection becomes stronger and your powers become stronger. And then we even like see how that strength and connection helps like feed Jack information.
Yeah, like Jack seems to, like, beyond just using a background element of the broadcaster power, it seems like he is so aligned with his shard that it's telling him information about the other shards that are in proximity so that he can, like, tell on an instinctual level, like, when he needs to, like, move in and out. It says he's like a leaf moving on the wind kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we learn how all the powers are like drawing their sources and their energies and stuff. We see how the powers, when they attach and then they trigger, then they reach out to things around them in the world for like inspiration and to like solidify the way that the power is gonna interact. Yeah, anything else big that we learned?
The time scale of the setting, like, whether or not we suspected that there was some malevolent force or that Scion was evil, I think it's even less likely that we would guess that these things are from, like, hundreds of thousands or millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. I guess that was something that's like kind of shocking in the book, that is this all started like 33 years ago or whatever. I think that the stream might have died.
Oh shit.
I'm just
The internet's been really bad here. I almost had asked you to be the host.
Yeah.
It seems like we might be back.
Okay, cool.
Oh no, it says now error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
Oh, smooth streaming. Well, that's okay, because we don't do video.
Yeah, well, I hope that we don't sound all choppy, but we're kind of wrapping up anyway.
Yeah.
Greg says he hears us clearly. Awesome. Well, good thing we have a static image on screen. There was a blip in the... Okay. Good. Hopefully this will not become a worsening problem, but if it is, we'll maybe start sending the video from another location or something. I'm not sure.
Sure.
I'm just trying to think of how it would work when we're not streaming together, but I don't know.
It's fine. We'll figure it out. I had this call out here that the entity, not just the Scion, but like the full entity that like seemingly is taking up like an entire Earth or something, is but a 10,000th% of their original size.
Yeah.
So
And I think they're still
large.
like full planet size.
Yeah. Very huge. What else about powers, knowledge, and world building? I feel like I had more. There's Aiden triggered. He obviously has a bud from Taylor because he can fucking control birds or whatever. And then there was all that nonsense with Tattletale just forgetting the pic drawing over and over again.
Yeah, so good.
Which is very funny. Yeah. Any other powers, knowledge, and world building?
Kind of no, because we talked about it how throughout the whole thing. I guess we do learn that like the dimensional shift power is basically like such a core element to the creature that it doesn't even think about like a point so far back that it got the power.
Yeah, that was like that was like seemingly the only way they could survive because they were so huge, and they were like populating planets or whatever, so they just had to shift through realities
Yeah, yeah.
to find resources and stuff.
It's like our equivalent of like walking. Like that's just how they do.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Um,
I feel
mhm.
like I don't know. I feel like I have more to say, but it's just like just because I just want to be like, this is such a good chapter.
Yeah, well,
There
that's the
was
thing
like
is like I want to talk about it
so
more. I
much
just
information.
yeah, it's almost overwhelming. Like this is one of the longest chapters, and it's one of the densest with either a new perspective on information or brand new information or like
Hmm.
totally like I don't know. Just the fact that we start on like a completely alien thing and then we finally make it to we're like at the stage of almost to the planet and then like it goes all the
Yeah.
way from that through like after the point the previous chapters ended and gives us like the full turnaround. And I mean for most readers at this point we understand what the rest of the story is going to be. um
Hmm.
like
Oh, something
uh-huh.
I totally forgot to mention the like arc titles or whatever that are in the chapter.
Oh yes, that we got to mention that. um uh I used to have that section of like writer stuff, like the weird, interesting way he writes some of the stuff, but I hadn't long
Hmm.
removed that. But yeah, like the first one we get is Tangle, and then it goes from there. We get let's see the arc titles.
The
All
next
of
one
the
is
arc titles up to now are
Gestation.
Gestation, Insinuation, Agitation, Shell, Hive, Tangle. I think all of those are in it. I don't think Buzz
Hmm.
is used. That's the next one.
Buzz
Buzz.
is used.
Buzz. Okay, Buzz,
It's
Drone, and Buzz. Okay, because I remember Drone being used, but I forgot it was Drone, Buzz.
hmm
Extermination, Sentinel, Parasite, Infestation. Let's double check. Is Plague? Plague is not used. No, Plague is used. Because they go negotiation,
Mike's used right at the
ownership,
end.
claim, territory, Plague. And then we've got Snare, which I think was used to talk about the Grey Boy thing. Prey, Colony, Monarch, Migration. I don't. Is Queen used? Queen. Queen is
Taylor's the
used.
queen.
Yeah, that's the Taylor shard. Um.
She's the
Uh.
queen administrator.
Scourge definitely. Do they actually say Chrysalis? Um. Chrysalis. Yep, they do. It's time. Chrysalis, the entity changes. Imago, they definitely say because the reader of the audiobook sounds like he says like Amago. Which fair.
Amigo.
It's not a common word, but I'm pretty certain it's Imago. Um, and then Cell, definitely. Drone, for sure. I think he says crushed when he talks about destroying. Or no, it's when he thinks about his emotions for the first time is crushed. And then Scarab talks about the time passing, and then this interlude that we're at, Sting, is used to describe their original attack power. So yet again, something from before they ever left their home planet, and that is I guess that's an important shard. Like we can
Yeah,
intuitively
yeah.
connect that to foil.
hmm
So yeah, Sting, and then I think that he says, Scourge, Extermination, Extinction. So he says the next arc title. However, I don't think he says any of the following three or the epilogue. Let me see here.
Yeah.
No cockroaches. And no Tenorol. And no venom. Let's double check. It'd be cooler if they were all in it, and he had pre-planned them a little more, but because then the audience could have been like, oh, what does venom mean? What does spec mean?
Yeah, we can't know those things yet.
Yeah, it's important that we know.
It's like when I was like scroll through the like Ward audiobooks to open my chapter, and it's like Arc 13 Death or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the ones for Ward, you can kind of brush off because you're like, well, it has to do with light, so maybe they're just referring to that.
No, it always means all the things.
Yeah. I believe the one you're thinking of is dying, which is the dying of the light.
Dying.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like, why? When I'm in Arc 1, I don't want to see a future arc that's called dying.
Yeah, Arc 1, what is it, Daybreak? It's so hopeful.
Yeah, it's so helpful.
Well, I kind of think we're ready for the audience participation question.
Yeah.
Okay, so, if you, and by you I mean me and you, Victoria, I don't think we're going to get other answers. If you were Cauldron, would you have tried to bring more people into the plan and let them know to be ready for when Scion turned against the world? And I guess I'll say my answer briefly, but I am interested to see if you just think the same thing or not. Generally, yes. I think they were overcautious to a point where and I know that they've been betrayed a few times, but it's like, I think that they did a lot of damage to their own cause many times by being like, we can't intervene, and like, we, have to keep this incredibly small, closed circle. Like, because otherwise it might slip to Scion or something. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't think that I think their fear is overblown compared to like what they could have pulled together if they had been more aligned.
Yeah, I mean, I think that how many years do they have? Do they know in advance?
They basically know right from the start that. So it's like 30
seems like a lot
30
of
years
to like build up a better plan.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like
you could fortify yourselves. You like start out with like obtaining I don't know, like obtaining like people with stranger powers or whatever, or people who can control information well, or this or that, and then you move on to clairvoyance and thinkers who can like check people and like make sure that they're safe. And like I know there's all these blind spots around Scion, but like Dinah still knew the end of the world was going to happen. We still like have an idea around things, and with 30 years to prep.
Yeah, and a lot of it is like they spend all this time making these complicated schemes of like, oh, you owe us this and whatever, and they're like favor trading, and it's just like so, like they spend so much time spooling up all this favor trading and stuff, and they spend so much, like they kill so many people and expend so many like powerful powers by being like, well, we can't let information get out, and it's like, so you're willing to throw away all these like really important resources for like OPSEC that ends up not mattering, and like even though you did all this OPSEC, like all of the OPSEC ever, you still fucked up in the end, and you still showed him where your base was before the critical moment. So literally none of that other shit mattered. It was just a waste of time.
Yeah. I think that it's like I would have kind of fortified a better team. Like, come on, Contessa, Numberman. It's just like Contessa, another Numberman, and then Dr. Mother, and like this is our team. The Dr. Mother is like has like a normal brain. Contessa's not is not like her own functioning person.
And she can't fight Scion at all. She literally can't do anything against him because her power can't see
she
him.
can't fight Scion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Numberman can't fight Scion. What is he gonna use? He's gonna beat him up?
Yeah, like Scion doesn't have like pressure points like other people do. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like okay, so you have like two perfect, excellent bodyguards. That's great, and that's like all. That's all you've built up. Like Alexandria was there too, another glorified bodyguard.
they have more resources, but like the way that it ends up working out is like anything that could possibly affect Scion is someone who hates them. And so because they don't have any goodwill, and because they have like done all these like awful things to people and like ruin their lives, then the literal exact people they need fighting for them are fighting against them.
Yeah, it's just that they wasted so much time doing the weird power stuff, like kidnapping Case 53s and then testing the vials and then selling the vials and like trying to build up all of these resources of favors or whatever the fuck they're doing. Like, I don't know. This
and I also
like a really convoluted way.
I understand the mentality behind like the money, and like I literally get it, but I still think they're just wrong. Like they shouldn't use the money to stop people who really want to from getting like certain power. I think that they should like you said, try and use like a combination of like powers and like human to human vetting and like trying to get people who are committed to like the cause of like saving people and justice and whatever. Like whatever they need to like sell them, but not like, oh, well, you, Jamie, I'm going to give a low tier power because you don't personally have assets. It's like, do you know how much of a fucking boon she could have been for you if you gave her a better power?
My God. Can you imagine if like what they did with Alexandria and Eidolon were the perfect scenarios where you're approaching somebody and saying that this thing might kill you or be horrible, but you're already gonna die. Also, it's for research to prevent the end of the world. Also, we've used our thinkers and our clairvoyants to pick the best people that have the best opportunity with like success in getting the powers and not becoming evil. and that would have been like a much better system already, right?
Because like literally, that's a good thing that you brought that up. I wasn't even thinking along those lines, but if you map it, then like they are their biggest successes, more or less. All their best capes are from the earliest generation almost. And that is when they were acting the most ethically. So by following the powers more closely and by doing all this weird, cruel shit, and like by trying to solve things by the exact same means as the enemy, they were ruining their own chances. And like it's kind of just correlation does not imply causation, but in a story it does. So like the story is saying, I think, that like they have these long-standing relationships, their most successful capes, their most important pieces from when they were acting more ethically and they were extending more trust.
Yeah, and also like in a literal sense, the reason that those were the best capes was because they were just like getting pure powers, and it was only the ones that stuck, which like implies that they were more like the people who received those powers and didn't die from them. They were like more aligned with the shard already.
Yeah, I think that makes sense that they
were a better fit for it.
a better fit, and they were able to survive without getting like hardly any
Burned out.
protections.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Cauldron.
Fucking up.
You guys are so dumb. You guys are so dumb. I guess I like sort of understand how they got to this point, but it's like but they are still acting like they made all the right decisions, and they did not.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess what are your remaining thoughts beyond anything that we've come through?
It was a really good plot twist. I'm so glad this was the last chapter of all of Worm.
Yeah, crazy way to end it. Guess Worm is over.
I literally just read the haunting of sorry, Jesus, I almost said the haunting of the screw. The turn of the screw.
You keep talking about haunting at Hill House every day. That it's all you can say.
Well, it's I was reading it because I was gonna watch Haunting of Bly Manor, which is based off of the turn of the screw. So yeah, then I was so then I read that, and that's kind of how the book ends. Like it's just like it literally goes, and then he died, and then it stops. It just like totally stops. And I was like, is this the end of the book?
That's such a like funny like oh my god, I like that.
It was like really shocking, and it was like doubly shocking because when the book starts, it's like a gothic fiction, so you know it's like a letter and a story inside a story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they like have all these side characters talking about they're like waiting to get this manuscript to like read this crazy ghost story, and then they read the crazy ghost story, and then at the end of it, it's just over.
It's funny.
It's like, and then he died.
You know what? I wasn't going to, but since we're already talking other books, shout outs to a book that I had read. If you're this far into the stream, I'm sure you can put up with all the weird shit. I quite enjoyed the book Sky Daddy, which was recommended by Vic and is incredibly good.
I was trying not to talk about Sky Daddy earlier, but I don't.
Listen, I've been trying all week not to talk about Sky Daddy.
It's like a horrible curse because I can't talk about it because of the premise of the name, but it's incredible.
The name is pretty damning.
It's too embarrassing.
Yeah. Greg got us the taming of the haunting of the turning of the screw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fall of the taming of the haunting of the turning of the screw. That's what all those titles sound like to me. Like the fall of the House of Usher. I'm always like, what's going on here?
I also like that's another classic sub like semicolon then the thing like. Whether it's a book or a game, you put like whatever the series thing is, then you have the fall, the returns, the beginning, like all sorts of stuff. Like, or sorry, not the beginning. It's origins. It's got to be origins.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Origins.
Yeah. Yes, I think that gets us to the end of talking about that question. And I'm sure that there could easily be a faction who thinks that Cauldron kind of game theoried out the best game and their secrecy was better because Scion would have been stirred by them moving against him.
Here's the thing.
Wow.
I feel like that could be true, but that like Cauldron's so fucking dumb that they would do the plan that's like 90% more evil for 1% better result.
Yes, I think that's the thing. Is it's this misplaced priorities thing.
Yeah.
That is like shot throughout Contessa's power. Like whenever they talk more in depth about the power and her decisions and stuff later, it's like clear that her power is guiding her down this awful path that while it's like more efficient, it's also like
It's the most efficient version, and we know that because Numberman backs her up.
yeah,
Definitely
exactly.
our two most trustworthy powers.
Yeah, no ulterior motives here.
No.
And it's not that I think the two people with the powers have the ulterior motives. It's the powers have the ulterior motives. So like,
Powers.
how
It's
could
that
we
it's that
harvest the
powers
most
are
data?
it's it's that the powers are 100% prioritizing efficiency and end result, and like that's gonna push you more and more into this certain mindset and then blindside you to like other options.
And I mean,
Yeah.
like Scion, from the perspective of the two shards behind their powers, they're uninterested in the human affairs. The like mass deaths of humans do not concern them.
Yeah.
Although
Even if they do it themselves.
the powers we've heard from the beginning of the book are do not actually like they're much less likely to be like deadly confrontations with these powers than people would expect given their strength. And that again, I think, is just preservation of data. You don't want to be so wasteful as to like kill an opponent who still might have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the question for 27.1, since we've just had this massive reveal, what are some other examples of, and I'll word this slightly differently and post it in the thing, but what are some other examples of large betrayals, like end of story turnarounds, like what if Superman turned evil? And I know that people will be like, oh, Omni-Man in the first episode of Invincible. But I really mean, like, they gotta cook longer than one episode. That, it doesn't count.
Yeah, a surprise. Like
Yeah.
the end of Sky Daddy.
Like the end of Sky Daddy. Yeah.
There's a reveal, a big fallout.
Well, I was thinking in Sky Daddy, when you said that, of the final reveal, which I found so shocking. I was like, mouth agape, just the whole last scene. I was like, oh my god.
Oh no, I was so ready for it. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for.
I don't know. I was convinced by the end of the book that it wouldn't end the way it ended, and I was so shocked.
Anyways, everyone should read Sky. Greg, you should read Sky Daddy.
Yeah. I'm gonna play the outro music, which is not the same thing we've been introing. It is in fact a different thing.
A new song. This is like a teaser. It'll be officially introduced next week.
I was gonna say we can like grossly talk over the first half of it, and then I can outro on the second half and line it up with the us leaving. So I'm starting it now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, shit! You will only be able to hear it on delay.
That's okay. I can handle it.
Okay, well, you know, as you listen, tell me your thoughts. I think I've heard it a couple more times than you, just because I've, you know, turned it on more times. But it's another song by Scarlett. This one is called Extinction, named after the next arc. And I didn't give any sample songs this time. It was really just we talked about the arcs this time. We talked about what type of instrumentation we wanted. If we said electronic and not really any real instruments. And then...
No trumpets.
Yeah, not another ska song, we said. Oh, Greg said duly noted about Sky Daddy.
Oh, good.
It's also got a good book on tape. I don't know if you listened to the book on tape, but I did. It was well acted. Yeah, I like all the stuff this song has going on. It sort of builds up. I think it's most fits Venom, to be honest, out of the upcoming arcs, but I think it does a really, really good job at like spanning the 3 arcs with pretty different moods between 27, 28, and 29. So.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're lined up, so if I start outroing now. So, the music at the beginning of this part 1 was Dark Ambient Music Asylum 01 by CO.AG Music, and we used worm.divx. The links for both of those YouTubes are in the stream description of both this and the previous part. We also have our Discord server link. Oh, and I'm going to punch in the Extinction information. Scarlett, our friend, you can find her at Scarlett. Well, not anymore, really, but twitch.tv /Scarlett_Rogue, I believe. You can just search Scarlet Rogue, but she's not really on there. The author of the work can be found at Patreon, or on Patreon, at patreon.com/Wildbow. Shoutouts to Wildbow for writing Worm. You can find the text at parahumans.wordpress.com, and there is also an audiobook at audioworm.rain-online.org. Theoretical Twitch channel, that is right, Greg. And cheers to Greg for being in the chat. Vic, what's your last word?
Take that, you worm.
Boom.